Welcome, Leo, to your June Moon Magic deep dive forecast for the ascendant, the sun, or the moon. We're going to have four key lunations in June, but right at the end of May, the Sagittarius blue full moon that provides a backdrop for the first half of the new month. I'm going to unpack all of those, but from a purely Leo perspective. The moon's very much about nurture, protectiveness, security, our inner world. It can be about where we live, who with and how, and also our family interactions. By the end of the video, you'll have a lunar perspective in terms of your energy, work, relationships, and finances for the whole of June. I'm astrologer Patrick Arundel. A very warm welcome. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, please do so now to help it to continue to thrive. But please also click or tap the bell notification symbol. As you came into this new month, Leo, the chances are you may have had some decisions to make around your time management. That old saying of we can't please all of the people all of the time really comes up for me, for you in particular, because the moon in your fellow fire sign of Sagittarius, very much a freedom seeker, but in the part of your chart to do with your need to do what's right for you, the individual, whereas the collective in the sign of Gemini, very much about your connections to others. But you know, right at the top of your chart, Mars, the planet of desire, action, and assertion, is in a very strong position for you to say exactly what you need. So if something has been a bit out of kilter, maybe in a current relationship, could be around those interests, maybe around a friendship, but you don't feel you're showcasing what you need to do as far as your rich talents and flair is concerned, that could be what Mars can help you with as we come into this new month. But it does mean saying what you want, and that may mean pushing back on other people's expectations. Fast forwards, and we come to the first of the two quarter moons. It's in Pisces. The moon in Pisces is incredibly sensitive. The eighth house can be where we're deeply invested financially, emotionally, spiritually. And it's also joining up with the North Node in that part of your chart. So that's very sensitive for deep connections. But the Sun in that part of your chart that's friendly, easygoing, sociable, we have a challenge. So maybe is some of the energy running on from the Sagittarius full moon is if you have felt a bit obligated, maybe even dare I say a bit controlled around certain interactions, this is a quarter moon which can make you much more conscious of breaking free from anyone's subtle leverage. Again, it may be around a friendship, could be around a relationship. But you know, right at the heart of the month, Leo, we have a sparkling, effervescent Gemini new moon. So, despite the challenges that those first 2 weeks are thrown up, you do get the chance for a big reset when it comes to your interactions with others or even your long term plan. But what makes this particular new moon so intriguing? The moon in Gemini, not at its strongest, it's known as being in Peregrine, doesn't quite know what to do with itself because it's not a water sign, or Taurus, which the moon thrives in its exaltation. So the moon here can be bubbly, but the moon's about feeling. Gemini's about fast communication. So there's plenty of opportunity for that. But what you also have is Mars and Jupiter, and to a degree Mercury, but particularly Mars and Jupiter, are linking back to the position of the new moon in semi-sextiles. I think the inference here is that around those group activities, your leadership skills can really be coming through, but also your ability to read the runes. So we can say read the runes or read the room, but certainly this Cancerian energy, very sensitive, but it does give you the chance to tune into friends. But I think if you want to make some alterations to your long-term plan, Mars most of all gives you a lot of confidence to really go for what you want. Now we have a big change on the 21st of the month. The sun moves into the sign of Cancer, which precedes your sign, and that also sees the next quarter moon on the 21st. Immediately we have the summer solstice in the north, winter south, but in astrology it is the summer solstice. The immediate moment we have that, the moon moves into Libra, which is very much about balance and equilibrium around communications. But it's also possible that something could get said over the next week, which surprises you a little bit. Maybe someone isn't quite as devoted, sincere, more of a fair weather friend vibe. So watch out for that through uh, that week from the 21st. What we do have at that time, however, Venus getting deeper into your sign has been in opposition with Pluto. So I think if there is some intensity around a relationship, it is going to show up around week 2 or 3 of this month. But that brings us to the final full moon of the month, Leo, and it's in Capricorn. But the moon in Capricorn is in its detriment. But for you, it's in the part of your scope to do with practical obligations. But the sun in the 12th house, much more to do with the psychological, emotional, spiritual, or even healing side of your situation. So it's possible that as we come to the end of this month, particularly with Mercury going retrograde also on the 29th, that a strand that's been simmering in the background may need looking at, may need you to be mindful. And again, it's just being aware that not everybody or everyone around you might be quite so much in your corner as you would like. So I think there is the potential in the last third of this month for some fair weather friends to make way. It could even happen right from the off. So the big picture for this month for you personally, Leo, from the point of view of the lunar energy, is very much about being in touch with what you need for you, but also using Mars being in a very dominant part of your chart to have the confidence to go for what you want, even if it's not what other people expect from you. But there is, as the month goes on, a need from you to have more sincere connections, and perhaps those people who are not so sincere are really going to show up by the end of the month when you have that juggle between the practical, worldly, and more earthy part of your situation with that inner world. So if you feel a bit drained at the end of this month, it's certainly a time to be more mindful of how you can think more about what you need from the situation. But what's going to help you enormously, of course, is that Jupiter moves into your zodiac sign on the 30th, and that can help to move you into the moment. But I think that last 10 days of the month generally can be a bit delicate for you. I'm going to summarize those 4 areas for you of energy, work, relationships, and finances next. But before I do, just to say, I've reduced the price of my personal horoscopes. They used to be for many years, buy two, get 30% off. Because of the cost of living increases, it's now buy one, get three. The one you pay for is your life roadmap report. Helps us to understand the patterns that are playing out in our lives and work with those energies better future forwards. Three, your 12 months transit forecast, but also your draconic soul karmic analysis, which is incredible and helps us to look at life, astrology, and ourselves in a different and potentially very profound way. Please see below for more. If you have yet to watch your June monthly forecast, that's on the screen. Your Mars in Taurus 6-week forecast on the screen. If you'd like to work with me one-to-one, it'd be an absolute pleasure. Please see my testimonials below. And if you've yet to take advantage of my free daily written horoscope, fire to your device each morning. Please sign up for that. Get your early day celestial pit stop. So to summarize, as far as energy is concerned, I think as the month goes on, being in touch with that more shadow side of your situation, the things that aren't so obvious, that occasional need to just spin out and do your own thing. It may be on a personal hobby. It could be a walk in the countryside, perhaps with a dog if you have one. It may be as we get to the 21st of the month that you need to be much more careful about who you spend time with, because even if you like certain people, the chances are you're going to soak up their energy in a much more profound way. So just be conscious of that. As far as your professional situation is concerned, I think Mars being in a very dominant part of your chart for a lot of the month, right through to the 28th, really gives you a chance to strut your stuff in a particularly assertive manner. But I think one of the things that's important within your work is who you're working with, whether you're enjoying being part of a team or whether you can manifest connections to others and whilst maintaining your own independent role. And that's going to be important to really enjoying what you're doing for your work. When it comes to your financial situation, Venus and Jupiter, the two planets of fortune, come together in a beautiful way on the 9th and all through week 2. That can be fortunate as far as maybe something linked to your past. So it could be a payout of some kind, maybe a legacy, it may be a thoughtful gesture you've done for someone else can come back to you in a very lovely way. Now, as far as relationships are concerned, with Pluto in your seventh house, as you begin and end the month, big changes are going on. If you're in a relationship where you really do feel that you and your partner are aligned for the future and you share interests, you're very collaborative, you help each other a lot, the friendship part of it is a big part of the tie. You're just going to go from strength to strength. If, however, you're not so sure, if you don't feel your partner is so in tune with you from a spiritual or emotional viewpoint, you could go through quite a bit of soul searching this month. It doesn't mean to say the relationship is terminal, but I think it is something you may need to assert more strongly, and Mars can help you about just being conscious of perhaps your worries, concerns, or if you're not finding life easy, being able to share that with a partner without feeling judged in any way. As far as your prospects, if you're single, I definitely think the very beginning of the month, that blue moon actually can give you a lot of options, a lot of choices. But remember, you can't please all of the people all of the time. But what Mars can do, threaded into that, is see you start off this month in confident form and determined to take a leading role. And I think that really gives you a lot of insight. If you want to change your solo status, you need to take action to get out and connect more with people. But I do think it is a case of quality over quantity. So do continue to be quite discriminating about who you eventually get close to. It's been a real pleasure being with you, Leo. Thank you so much for joining me. All the best for June, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.